Hey folks, this is your nostalgia merchant back with another video reliving the experience of past football games in 2025. Recently, I've sunk a surprising amount of time into modded FIFA 22, and I honestly didn't expect to enjoy it this much. Don't get me wrong, the game definitely has its flaws, and we will talk about them later in this video. But overall, modded FIFA 22 offers some really cool football experience, especially if you are after that sweet spot between fun, fast-paced gameplay and immersion with modern gaming feel. See, the game still looks great, it's responsive, and most importantly, it's actually fun to play. And the modding scene, well, it's not very active, but there are loads of great mods out there, including some unique gameplay tweaks that you won't find in newer FIFA games. Oh, and pretty much all of them are free at this point, so I think it's great time to jump into this game. And so far it seems that FIFA 22 is the last EA football game that I am actually able to enjoy fully. See, FIFA 23 brought some insane amount of weird-ass animations, and overall the gameplay felt rather poor. And then we all know what happened with FC titles. So in this video, I will do my best to show you why I think you should install FIFA 22 on your PC and mod the hell out of it. Now, before we dive into the gameplay, graphics and all that juice, there's one bit of context that is worth mentioning here. Because FIFA 22 was released in that awkward transition period where EA split the game into two versions depending on platform. Next-gen consoles got a more polished version with features like hypermotion animations, some cleaner, more advanced visuals, and presentation touches. Vanilla gameplay also felt a bit different on next-gen console. And guess which version PC players got? Yep, we got the middle finger. EA gave us the last-gen version on PC, probably to push sales of consoles. So to check things out, I've played FIFA 22 on both PC and PlayStation 5. And yeah, vanilla on next gens is a much better game than a vanilla FIFA 22 on PC. But when you mod FIFA 22 properly on your computer, I think the game goes to another level. And that's exactly what we will focus on in this video. And hey, if you don't already have FIFA 22 on PC and want to give it a go with mods, check the link in the video description. It will take you to the store that I use to grab older FIFA and Pro Evo titles. Alright, with all that said, let's get into how the game actually plays on PC in 2025. Heavily modded? Of course. FIFA 22 definitely has its flaws, but what I absolutely adore about this game is the responsiveness on the pitch. I'm not sure how you feel about responsiveness in football games, but for me it's often a make or break factor. Way too often in other games, especially Pro Evo titles running on the Fox engine, it feels like you're playing with a 300 milliseconds ping delay, right? Inputs lag behind, and it somehow kills the flow. With FIFA 22, especially modded, the gameplay feels incredibly responsive. You really feel in control of your players, and that responsiveness makes the whole experience click. That said, this kind of responsiveness does come at a price. There are times when animations look weird, or the game gets a little bit junky. That's unfortunately a common trade-off in sports games. You either have fluid, realistic animations, or you have a tight control over your player. No game has truly mastered both at the same time. So if you want raw responsiveness on PC, I think FIFA 22 is one of the best, if not the best, modern FIFA for that particular aspect. But it's not all perfect. There is a noticeable increase in skating on the pitch compared to earlier Frostbite FIFA titles like 17, 18 or 19. The gameplay mod I'm using reduces this effect, but it's still there. So if skating is something that really bothers you in FIFA games, this might not be your cup of tea. You're probably better off with older FIFA titles or perhaps trying Pro Evo games. Then we have defending, which is another weak spot here. It's a step down from FIFA 19 in my opinion. See, there's this 1v1 defending mechanic, which was introduced back in FIFA 20 by EA, and it's still here and doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And that mechanic, I think, is what made AI defending pretty much missing for your team. Like, look now at the screen and see how inactive my players are on defense. They don't mark any other player, they don't cut off passing lanes, they are just there holding their position in the formation, and it's super freaking frustrating. The contain button often feels useless, like making you run behind the attacker for some damn reason. And so when you combine all these issues with defending, you end up micromanaging your entire team defensively, which is kinda tiring for all the wrong reasons. Now, computer behavior is where things get quite interesting with FIFA 22, as it depends heavily on which gameplay mode you actually use. See, I tested all gameplay modes that I could literally find, and surprisingly enough, 3 gameplay modes that I liked the most are not from your usual FIFA modders like Daniel Z, Paul or Ant James. So let's talk about those. First mod that I enjoyed a lot is the AI motion mod. It was the most fun gameplay offensively. Seriously, with this gameplay mode, attacking felt really fluid and motion looked quite natural for FIFA 22. But this came at a cost, unfortunately. Matches turned into quite frantic end-to-end affairs, with defenses struggling even on the highest difficulty on both sides. The midfield was essentially non-existent, and you would regularly end with way too many goals on both sides. So that fun effect of attacking wore off real fast. Then next, I tried the Realism Gameplay Ultimate mod. It seemed more balanced at first, but most of the time I found the win to come too easily. Then, out of nowhere, in some matches, the AI felt like it went completely crazy, not letting me get any possession of the ball, and that inconsistency made it hard to enjoy this gameplay mod after a while. And then finally I settled on Enhanced Gameplay 0.8 version by Captain Kid. This mod strikes the best balance so far between fun, immersion and challenge, between fast action and immersive build-up. It even captures something that most football games and mods miss: the difference in performance between very strong teams and weak ones. See, when I was playing against some weak Asian teams, I could easily score 4 or 5 goals by halftime. But beating top European clubs turned out to be a real challenge. And honestly, I liked that aspect a lot. It's nice to feel sometimes overpowered when you play against weak teams, but it's also good to have this real challenge when you are facing off against the titans of the European scene. Computer also plays quite well with Enhanced Gameplay mode, and the fluidity with responsiveness of action is still here. So I highly recommend you give this mod a good shot before you give your final judgment about FIFA 22 modded on PC. So yeah, the AI and computer behavior remains a mixed bag with FIFA 22. It is a recurring problem in football games overall. I am yet to find a game where the computer is actually consistent, surprising, creative, and fair all at once. There's always something missing in those games, and it's so damn annoying. Now, here's the weird part. Despite all these issues that I mentioned, which often end up being a deal breaker for me in other football games, I still have a lot of fun with FIFA 22. It's one of those games that just feels damn enjoyable when things click, even with all its flaws. And you know, that made me wonder, why don't these issues bother me here in FIFA 22 as much as they do in FC 24 or 25? And I came to realize that it's about the overall feel of the game. See, when a game's flow feels off, we fixate on the small problems and nitpick every detail. Minor things start to piss us off, and the bigger issues become unbearable. But when the gameplay itself is fun and engaging, we are more willing to forgive imperfections and just enjoy the ride. And I think that's exactly where FIFA 22 lands for me. It's no perfect football game in terms of gameplay, but it feels dynamic, responsive, and delivers amazing moments on the pitch. Sure, it has frustrating bits that break immersion, but when it's clicking, it's a blast. Now let's talk about graphics. Do they hold up 4 years after release? Absolutely. Even though the PC version of FIFA 22 is technically old generation, the game still looks fantastic, especially when modded right. In fact, I would argue that the pre-FC24 FIFA games like 22 or even 19 have a much more natural visual style overall. Body proportions look more human, the lighting feels more grounded, and the colors aren't cranked up to this weird over-processed HDR plastic look we get in the newest titles. There's a kind of visual honesty to FIFA 22 that I actually prefer. And once you throw in some graphical mods, especially from Fifer and eSIM, the level of detail gets a major upgrade. Sharper kits, cleaner stadium textures, better turfs, goal nets, better faces, all that good stuff. You might actually boot it up and think, damn, this looks better than what I remembered. And chances are that you would be right. And player animations, while not perfect, look more cleanly than what you would expect from a supposed inferior version. Like, yeah, sure, there is some sliding here and there, as we discussed, but it still looks way more natural than some of the stiff, off-balance, exaggerated animations that you will see in the newest EA titles. You know the ones, when players running like they're about to fall face first at any damn moment. And with mods, this game doesn't just hold up, I think it shines. So if visuals are something that matters to you, I think you shouldn't sleep on FIFA 22. You might be surprised how good it still looks, especially if you mod it right. Links to the mods that I am using are in the video description, so feel free to check them out and slap them on your copy. One of the things I really enjoy about firing up FIFA 22 in 2025 is the roster snapshot of that particular football era. This was, I believe, a very transitional moment in recent football history, and playing through it now feels like stepping into a mini what-if time machine. I mean, it was just 4 years ago, right? But there were some major changes on the top of the football landscape. Here we've got still Messi, Mbappe and Neymar still in PSG, right before that project started to collapse. Cristiano Ronaldo is still at Manchester United, not giving yet awkward Piers Morgan interviews or kicking ass in Saudi Arabia, but actually banging in goals in Europe for the one last time. Over at Real Madrid, you've got the squad just before Benzema's departure as well to Saudi Arabia. And then there's Borussia Dortmund, with a young Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland terrorizing Bundesliga. Replaying this season now lets you reshape that recent football timeline. Maybe Ronaldo wins the league with United, or perhaps PSG's attacking trio finally clicks and wins the Champions League. Or maybe Haaland doesn't board to City and instead becomes the king of Germany. I think there is a ton of replay value here just in exploring how these recent career changes could have gone differently. And I think it gives your playthroughs a sense of purpose and nostalgia at the same time. Now, obviously, when we talk about immersion, we can't ignore the modding scene. FIFA 22 still has a lot of good mods out there that add realism and detail to your experience, especially on PC. Fifer's Realism Mod is a big one, and it does a ton of heavy lifting. You get improved faces, updated manager outfits, accessories, real-life sleeve detail, all that stuff that adds depth to career mode and offline play. On top of that, eSIM's enhancements bring serious technical improvements to the game. Increased level of details, better goal nets, turf upgrades, more immersive camera angles. It's the kind of stuff that maybe doesn't scream at you immediately when you take one mod at a time, but once it's all in place, you feel like the game is on a whole new level. One problem with mods for FIFA 22 though is that the game doesn't have a proper all-in-one 2025 season patch. Unlike what we've seen with Infinity patches, for instance, for FIFA 14 or 16, where you could install a single package and boom, you get everything updated with quality mods. In FIFA 22, however, it's a bit more messy. There are pieces of seasonal updates floating around. Kits here, rosters there, faces elsewhere, but nothing truly cohesive or plug and play at the time of this video, or at least I couldn't find one. Still, if you are willing to piece together your mod setup manually, there are possibilities for more recent seasonal content. And if you enjoy tinkering and customizing your game, that might actually be a part of fun for you. So how would I summarize modded FIFA 22 experience? See, sometimes it's not about how polished a football game is, it's about how it feels when you are on the pitch. And that's the thing with FIFA 22 in 2025. It's not a perfect game. In fact, it's far from it. But to me, it nails that just one more match feeling better than the newest titles do. It's the kind of game where even when stuff breaks the immersion for a moment or it annoys you, you still find yourself enjoying the ride. You boot it up for 20 minutes and end up playing for 2 hours. Not because it's flawless, but because it hits that rare balance of control, flow, responsiveness, and modern gaming experience. And you know, maybe that's the real value of games like this, not being the best, but being the one that you keep coming back to when everything else starts feeling really stale. And you know, as cool as it is to sometimes revisit the old games like Pro Evo 6 or like early 2010s titles, I think that most of us on the long run want to play something more modern that looks and plays like something from 2020s. And that's why I think FIFA 22 hits that sweet spot. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like to let me know I'm not talking into the void. And if you've played FIFA 22 recently, modded or not, let me know in the comments what your experience was like. Did you enjoy the game as much as I did? Or did the flaws drive you nuts? Also, if you are looking to grab FIFA 22 for cheap or modded the same way I did, check the links in the video description. Everything's down there, including the gameplay mod I recommend and the store I use for all the FIFA and Pro Evo titles. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.